In the last tutorial, I linked images to the project and configured the project's pixels per meter property to match the artwork's scale. In this tutorial, I'll create my first map, add some images to it, and set up the camera. First, I'll create a map file within the Maps folder by right-clicking on that folder and selecting New Other. Then choose the SMEd category and Map2D file type, then click Next to continue. Now enter the file name for the new map and click Finish. Map2D editor window automatically opens, showing the newly created map. You can see that the map file was created in the Maps folder. Note that the Images palette is now populated with image icons for all of this project's image resources. Palette contexts are set when an editor takes focus. As well, the Explorer window's context is assigned by the Map2D editor and shows the map contents in a tree view. The Map2D editor window consists of a tab displaying the map and project name, a toolbar with tools such as Select, Grid, Joint, Physics Play and Pause, and a graphical display where the actual map is rendered. Going back to the Explorer window, you can see that the map contains two nodes, cameras and layers. Both are empty by default. First thing I'll do is create an entity by dragging an image onto the Map2D editor window. A new entity is created and added to the map. Notice that a new layer was added to the map and contains an entity named guy.png. The layer was automatically created because no layers existed when I added the entity. If I select the layer and examine its properties in the Properties window, you can see that the layer's position along the Z-axis defaults to 0 meters. The editor's camera default position is a bit far, so I'll adjust it using the scroll wheel to zoom in or out, and middle click to pan around. Now I'll add another image, but this time to a layer that is rendered behind the current one. To do this, I'll first create a new layer by right-clicking on the Layers node and selecting Add Layer. Let's rename this layer to Background using the Properties window. I also want to set this layer's position to -2 meters since it's further away from the camera than the main layer. To add an entity to a specific layer, make sure that the layer is selected in the Explorer tree, then drag an image onto the map editor. The new entity is created in the currently selected layer as I wanted, but the layers are rendered in the wrong order even though I set the background layer position to be further than the other layer. This is because Map2D editor renders layers in top-down order as they appear in the Explorer tree, where the topmost layer is rendered first and so on. I therefore need to drag the new layer to the top of the list in the Explorer tree. Finally, I'll add a camera to the map. Right-click on the Cameras node and select Add Camera. This creates a snapshot of the editor camera's current settings. You can examine the camera's properties by selecting the Camera node and looking at the Properties window. Additional properties can be accessed by clicking the Properties button. Note that Perspective is set to True by default. One final note, if you happen to change the editor camera's settings and later want to reset it to one of your map's cameras, just double-click the desired camera node in the Explorer tree. And that's it for map creation and camera setup. I'll cover properties in more detail in the next tutorial.